Yes. My name is Rudo. I'm a full-time trader. I trade from home. This is my home office. And I just said, oh, I am going short. And yesterday I was giving you guys all these buy zones and talking about things going up. So what's this guy smoking? So I want to try and explain this to you guys, that on the higher time frame, I've now seen something, and it's something worth noting, something worth sharing with you guys. As the saying always goes, when news and large institutions tell you to buy, it's normally not the best time to buy. But yes, okay. Who am I to judge? I'm not a specialist in any of this. I know technical analysis, and that's what we're on about. So why the hell am I shorting? Well, I want to short on the basis that I know that I'm taking on risk. And the risk is in order to hit the CME cap. But the beauty about where we are now is that we know that we can play both sides of the market. So I am long on spot, but I'm shorting my my leverage position, or my leverage portfolio. Okay. So for me, that's why the higher probability is saying to myself, okay, I know that I'm waiting because of this chart. I know that I'm waiting for this. Okay. It just makes logically sense. I'm seeing for myself how support levels are holding up price and how we are slowly but surely getting more and more strong bearish divergence printing in price. So the betting man that I am, saying to myself, the odds that this is going to keep on going up is smaller than the odds that it's going to break down. The more money will be made if it goes up, because it's going to surprise a lot of people. And for everybody else that's hodling, they're going to be amazing, happy, and we're all just going to say, that's it, we made more money. But that's the betting man in me saying, okay, I'm going to try and take that trade. Now, where the hell am I going to short this from? Okay, if I would want to do this, I'll tell you that a little bit later. Let's move on. Now, if this plays out, let's talk about if this plays out. This is the 15-minute today, and this was a trade that I was looking at. I just want to show you this. What happens to the candle that makes the higher high? 50% is the buy. That's just as recent as the 15-minute. What happens to the candle that makes the lower low? 50%, that's the short. What happened to the candle that made the higher high? 50%. I mean, that's a really bad example, but it's still an example of that. Okay? There's the buy. Doesn't mean that it's the buy forever. Just tells you that there's a continuation. There's going to be a reaction in a specific direction. Therefore, we need to act. Okay? That's all. That's all that it's telling me. So to go back to the daily time frame, I'm saying to myself, okay, I see the divergence. I see the patterns. I see everybody's insanely bullish sentiment. And then I see this. Does this then not seem as a fair area to say that if this thing doesn't break out to the upside, we're going to go there at least, minimum? Okay, I rest my case. 94 of you guys joining in live. Could 42K happen before this plays out? In the scale of probabilities, it's high up there. Because guess what? Today's day on this resistance is sitting at 40. 2, 3, 4 more days. Let's say by the end of the month, 30th of November, let's draw a line up and see there. Now it's sitting at 41. So we should not break out. The longer we stay here, the more plausible it is. Remember, because as soon as we go above that, what does this mean? 85% of these patterns, as soon as they are trading above it, continues in that direction. That's the statistics. It's not me. It's not that. That's the statistics. So as soon as that happens, it's no longer a reversal pattern or seen as a reversal pattern. So if big money is following this, they're going to keep on buying to get in, like what happened here. They're going to keep on buying to get in. Okay, back to Solana. We're not reclaiming this. And one thing I want to point out to you guys, when we're at highs, just look at market strength. How do you determine market strength? Big bodies, small wicks. Big bodies, small wicks. Big body, small wicks. Remember, it's in relative to the entire movement. Okay. Big body, small wicks. When do we know market's confused? Big wicks, small bodies. Okay. So every time we are retracing the market's confused, small bodies, big wicks. Okay. Once we're trending, it's okay. So now look at where we are now. Going up, we started to get to a point where we're getting small bodies, big wicks. But going down, the market gives small wicks, big bodies. So it shows you that the confidence is more weighted towards the bears. Now, we have fought back into this range, but have we engulfed this? No. And that's the worry that I'm sitting with now. Now, do I know whether we will or not? That's the problem. It's like a trade setup. I can estimate and guess and so forth. The higher time frame will bail you out until it doesn't bail you out. But you've got a job to do, basically. Each and every one of you guys, the end of the day, close to the end of the day, every day. You just want to make sure that that daily candle stays above 57. Because if it don't, you're going to find the daily candle is going to come back to 51 again. And when we're there, we'll wait what the divergence and everything is telling us to see whether it's going to continue on higher. Okay, simple as that, guys. So for now, this is your job. Keep an eye out on this. Now, pattern trader wise, guys will be looking at this and saying, okay, right, well, if we can break out, we will go higher again. And that's definitely true. If you look at this from so from a trader point of view, it's already giving the pattern traders or the retail traders a reason to think. Candle that makes the higher high, 50%, there's the buy. It's showing you there's momentum. Okay, so yeah. There's Solana's done. Let's look at something else. I actually wanted to look at Matic with you guys real quick. So Matic's bouncing in the same area, and the problem that I have is, and this is what they call a RS flip or a SR flip. I'm just going to take these lines away. We've made a lower low and gone to the 4 hour, and now what needs to happen is we need to turn this, what is clearly resistance, into support again. And the problem that we have with Matic, with this buy, so if you grab these buys, is if we do that still, we run with a problem. Hidden bearish divergence. And because the trend is already down, that points to a higher probability of playing out before we're going to go down, before we're going to go up again. So it just supports the theory that maybe it's a good time to just grab these if you're a trader, to grab the shorts. Let's go on. Let's look at Cardano real quick. I'm going to hit ADA. Right, guys, Cardano. Hidden bullish divergence. It's not made a higher high, though. So it's definitely range bound and range trapped. Now, you know the rules. Simply put, you're bearish at the top, bullish at the bottom. So at this stage, what do you want to see? We've opened and closed the candle above this critical support level, okay, or resistance level for the bull side. So that's all good. Stay there. But now your job is to watch the dailies. You don't want to see it fall back in here. Because if it does, it's going to open the door back down. But then the problem is you don't have your momentum anymore. So we're going to have to create new momentum of some sort, which means then you open the door for a little bit more drawdown. And you need to be okay with that. If not, make sure you've got clearly defined lines drawn in the sand. Because if it breaks below this area, you're going to have to then use this range to hunt for longs, because there's the next or the previous pivot. So we're bullish all the way down to that point, because then if we break below that, it's bear market. We're going to sweep lows again. Okay. So that's the long and the short for Cardano on that one. Let's quickly move on. I actually want to look at the BNB trade that we're in. So BNB engulfed, didn't go below the thou shall not cross line. But is this BNB on the daily maybe not forming a Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin Cash-ish view for us. So what have we learned with Bitcoin Cash? I'm going to go to the 4-hour where I explained this to you guys. Okay, simply put, when you have major sell-offs, price needs to stay above it, and then if it wicks in this and runs, you're good. So then that's the 50% of the wick type scenario buy. But if it doesn't, and you start trading below this level like we did there, we can clearly see all of this, we're trading below it. And when we got there, we failed to actually close a candle above it. You're now creating a scenario where this demand is potentially failing. So going back to this now on the daily time frame, what do we have? We've got a massive sell-off, immediately stayed above it. Okay, so the argument is that this thing can go and test as low as that still. But what I would not want to see is if it goes below this, because then this is now no longer a shakeout, but actually a turn of trend. Okay. Now, more than that, I can't really venture at this stage because I need more candles to take that in mind. But if you have some BNB, you grab the buy where it's at there or close to these ranges. There's not a lot of gains there at this stage, but it's at critical support levels. See the critical support levels there, okay? So you're comfortable holding it, but if it starts going below 220, that's going to open the door for 200 and potentially going to bring price back down low. And this is the only bad thing about BNB. When you look at it from the weekly point of view, can you see that major gap there where price is going to almost get drawn to by a magnet? So this is your risk, okay? You got to buy, you got a good buy. You got a shake out, manipulated move buy off a higher high, okay? So that's a good area. But as soon as we move below this green line, or 220, let's maybe mark it with a more professional looking line, 220, you open the door for price to come back and fill this gap. That's your risk. Okay. Let's quickly go to SUI. I'm going to look at SUI real quick. 28 minutes in, we're about. I'm gonna try and go through all these coins real quick with you guys. Okay. Matty's got a really good question as well. And where would everything else go? And that's a really hard thing to answer. So I'm going to attempt it. Okay. So what do we have now? We've got SUI. Remember, SUI has not made or has not had a bull market pump. Get above this level. You can clearly see that SUI is at this stage struggling. It's sitting at 61 cents. So if you go into the daily time frame, what's SUI doing? Success at this stage is going to be its downfall until we break that. So your job for this weekend is basically just put an alert there at 66 cents. Once SUI crosses 66 cents, you can say, okay, we've deleted supply, but now the risk runs that we have strong bearish divergence. Okay, so that's the trading game. Now, what do I do? How do I act on that? Well, don't, because you bought the thing on spot on support. And any breakout will come back down to test. It's when we trade back in this area, that's when you need to worry. Now, let's look at the worry figures. From the buy, we're up about 20%. You're risking, you're saying to yourself, from this point, you've got 20%. You need to risk some to find out if there's more or if it's over. How far in here will you be comfortable holding until you say, okay, right, maybe it's turning against me? And that's on the back that it's giving you divergence. Remember now, it's giving you divergence. There's no divergence yet. Okay. So if it's got divergence, it falls back under this area. So the way that I look at this is that's the most logical place where it's going to bounce. There. Okay. So don't put your stop there. Don't be cheap. Okay, because it can bounce and wick through and bounce and wick through. You want to look for daily time frame closes consistently below this. Versions of that. But then you know. Okay, so keep an eye out for this type of things because it can become hard. You just need to manage your coin. You don't need to baby it. You don't need to cuddle it, hodl it, and look at it 24/7. All you need to do is just say to yourself, okay, I need to take some little bit of responsibility and I need to understand what is my situation. Can I risk it, or will I be fine if SUI goes back down even there and then goes bullish later on? That's up to you. It's entirely up to you. So you need to define that for you guys, for yourself. Okay. The left zero, let's quickly have a look at this. Also moving nicely. We're above it. Great. Remember though, $1.44 is still a bit of a problem for us. So what do you want to see? I want to see it get above it and hopefully delete the divergence. So those are the things you need to look at. And you only need to do it once, close to the end of the day. During the day, leave it, let it chop. Okay. Now, if it gets above that, closes above it, then you'll have divergence. Up until now, if it closes just below it, it's not bearish nor bullish. It's just part of the existing trend because price is not ready to turn yet. The fact that we've got big candles, big moves, very little wicks, tells me that there's engineering money being spent here to absorb this. So leaf zero could still potentially go higher. And remember those targets, like I said, guys. Things can get crazy. We can go $1.60, $2 quickly if it wants to pop. To turn into a 20-30% really quickly. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Total 3, and let's see what Boba said. Total 3, good for keeping an eye on alts. Currently at a pivotal area, needs to stay above. Yes, true. But the problem that we have at this moment, if you look at the cycling of funds, monies go from there to there to there to there. Okay, so this is total 3 territory. But we don't have it clear from there to there to there. The dominance is messing up with that information, that data. Look at what price is doing. It's fighting up against resistance and. So until we have a clear dominance trend, which we don't have, it's really hard to look at these totals and say exactly that. The only takeaway that I can pick from this total is the following. Is there new money coming into the market? Yes or no? With Bitcoin currently doing like this, yes, but it scraps. You can see big wicks, small bodies. Now, is that money in the just Bitcoin, or is it in the entire crypto market? Well, if I look at this, I need to look at the total, and then I need to look at total 2 to kind of define to see whether it's Bitcoin that's bringing in the money, because Bitcoin's losing momentum. Total 2 is printing almost identical to Bitcoin. So this is everything together. Well, not everything. Remember, the total index gathers coin data up to a specific point. Small caps, really stuff that's unlisted, they won't reflect within this. Okay. And then looking at this, I'm saying to myself, okay, so I see that there's money entering. It is not big money, but it's not entering into the alts, because if I take Bitcoin away, it's hitting up resistance. So if it's not entering in the alts, okay, so well, why? Well, total 2 then turns to total 3, because now we're removing Ethereum. Here we've got Bitcoin. Here we've got everything. They've got everything without Bitcoin. Without Bitcoin. And now we're removing Ethereum and saying, okay, right, what's happening in total 3? Now, Solana is doing well, but Ethereum is still the second biggest alt. Okay? And there's no new money entering there as well. Big wicks, small bodies. So this is uncertainty. This is uncertainty. And now this is as well uncertain. So by definition, this is going to be uncertain. So basically all this is showing me uncertainty. Now, if you trade the total 3, your argument is that it's above it. So yes, you need to consider that price needs to stay above this area. But what if it wicks through and takes another 2 days to close, but your alt is trending down? So you look at this to kind of gauge the sentiment, but you still need to go to your own coin and make the decisions there. Which brings me to a big question. Do you use Bitcoin as an indicator to trade, or do you just take each one on its own? I use Bitcoin, if I'm trading an alt, as a sentiment, purely. Just give it some, what is the predominant larger picture views? I don't use it on the same time frame. So say if I'm an alt on the daily, I'll use Bitcoin on the weekly. And by all reasons, Bitcoin on the weekly has not. It's about to. The week's not over, but has not made any signs of a divergence. If it does, whoa, things might look bad. But remember, we would love to have a divergence like this. That's that wave on wave divergence. We're maybe only just slowing down a little bit. So that tells me bigger picture, the alt's potentially still going to keep on moving. So sorry, guys. It's a lot of fucking circling back. If it confuses you, bear with me. This is the hard stuff, but eventually you start hitting it, it starts digesting and starts making sense. And that's ultimately what you want to do. You want to be able to get out at the right time in the bull market, not get trapped. Okay, let's have a look at some more alts. I saw we had Filecoin. I spoke about File. So let's look at the coins that I know that I have spoken about, and I did add it onto this list. I don't know where I headed. Let's quickly go Phantom real quick. Daily time frame. Remember, momentum's left, hidden bullish divergence, and now we're at resistance. Yesterday, I was explaining to you guys how that could be a good area to short. We're at resistance. You just need to look for something. So Phantom has a job to do. Okay, get above it. Boom, great. That's good. The weekend will be rosy. Retail traders are going to look at like this. They're going to flip this to a 4-hour, and they're going to have a line drawn like this, saying track the momentum. So they're not interested in buying. You can see everybody's shit scared of buying resistance, probably until we get the other side of the line, and then they're going to be comfortable again. So that's what you're waiting for. You need to give this one time to see whether it wants to go. Okay. Let's have a look at Filecoin. Okay. Hidden bearish divergence, the last time I spoke, broke down, broke the trend at resistance. Same thing, but here's the catch. Look at this already. This one already has another hidden bearish divergence. So if you're actually fixing to short an alt, this is a really good one to take the risk on. It's a really good one to take on some risk. Why? Well, particularly if it doesn't break out and start trading here consistently. This is your risk zone. It's where you can absorb drawdown. Oh, I'm writing really bad. And then you're expecting for price to go do what? Make a lower low. Make a lower low with the RSI like that would potentially mean that the RSI does this. Now you've got strong bullish divergence. Then the breakout happens. Remember, the market never gives you what you want when you want it. It's always got its own time around. People want to see this thing go on higher. I want to see this thing go on higher. But maybe this is not the time for it. It's going to take some time to get there, and then more time to actually break into those big digits. So that's all that it's pointing out to for our time frame. So let's not confuse everybody too much. Daily time frame, big picture, bullish. This thing can go to that whole analysis could play out by a sign of a wick and still be okay. This is our support level. Okay, you need to be able to absorb this risk. Okay, simple as that. Let's clean up the squibbles real quick. Otherwise, it's getting crazy. So while I'm doing this, let me know what weekend activities you guys are going to be doing. Or you're just going to be looking at your alts. I'm going to be mountain biking. I don't know how many mountain bikers are there out there. Let me know. I'm going to quickly go on to, let's have a look at STG. Now, daily first. Time versus gains is still intact. The trend is still there, okay? You can see that uncertainty, big wicks, big bodies. So now you would want to see engulfing structures. So your eye needs to be there. You want to see this thing stay above that, okay? Zooming out, looking at massive support and resistance areas, you can clearly see that this is a critical range. There's a big engulfing structure there. So where's the next one? There on that big engulfing structure, and the resistance and the test of that will also be critical. So there's critical support and resistance areas. So now we don't have any divergence leading up to this. So let's say my short, remember my short's way high. I haven't given you my short just yet, okay? Let's say this goes there. Then we should have some divergence. Boom, okay. So bullish daily just yet. But what you don't want to see is price go below these levels here. You don't want to see this Basically, it's this one, actually, the biggest one. You don't want to see that. Okay. Now, let's have a look at one more coin real quick. One more coin. Cadena, KDA, where did I put you? There we go. This was the momentum. So this one's almost identical in a sense, but now you can see how momentum is lost. So you can update momentum. So, well, that's the new momentum for that matter. Okay. Flip to a line tool, say to yourself, okay, right. From high to low, no divergence. From there to there, hidden bullish divergence. Okay. Go make a higher high, 70 cents. 70 cents for Cadena, potentially still in the cards. And all this is potentially, all this upside I'm seeing on the alt, another higher high, one last higher high, is what I'm expecting to see for Bitcoin before I'm going to hit that BTC short. So wait for the upside. That's what I'm doing. When it sells back, it's going to leave a wick. Wherever it closes, I'll start thinking. Guys, I want to say thanks to each and every one for joining in. Guys, this is the end of the stream. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to head over to the Discord, and I'll go post the charts now. I forgot already. And for everybody else, keep hustling.